Life is full. It's full of beautiful moments, hard moments, and a whole lot of mundane in between. Often we find ourselves going through the motions, and we end up seeing mostly the hard, mostly the boring, and failing to see the good in our days at all. With Intention is a podcast about changing the narrative. I'm your host, Desiree, and I'm no expert at living intentionally. I'm just here to share my personal learnings alongside stories from others about how we're learning to see the beauty in the mundane, celebrate our beautiful, ordinary, everyday lives, and approach every aspect of them with intention. We'll talk about things like motherhood and family, reflecting and taking care of ourselves, our work, our homes, all the things that make up our days. My hope is that you'll leave our conversations reminded that our beautiful, hard, ordinary, mundane days, this messy life, it's full of good and it's full of purpose and it's meant to be lived well with the utmost intention. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get to today's episode. Welcome back to With Intention. We are continuing our Declutter With Me series this week. And if you missed it last week, we started with the bathroom. This week, we're tackling something that might be a little bit more overwhelming for those of us who have kids in our lives. Well, especially if they live in our homes, at least. And that is kids' clothes. We are tackling the kids' closets. And this weekend, I tackled my daughter's closet and my closet. Took a long time, I'm not gonna lie. Even though we have decluttered in the past, even though I know my own pillars to keeping my wardrobe less overwhelming, things have gotten out of hand over the past 6 months-ish. My secondhand shopping habit got a little bit too much, I think, for my own wardrobe. We'll get there on another episode, but today we're going to focus on our kids' closets. Because for me, this is probably the most overwhelming part of the house. I don't know about you, but kids' laundry, especially if you have toddlers, it just takes forever. Their clothes are small. We have way too many kids' clothes. Even still, even after I decluttered, I do keep probably more than I would keep of my own clothes, or she has more clothes than my husband and I probably combined. But the reason for this is that I don't do laundry every single day. We right now are on kind of a once to twice a week laundry routine, and she flies through clothes because she gets stuff all over them. So I do keep a little bit extra for her, but I admit we had excess. And we still probably do, but it is what it is. We are moving forward, and we did get rid of a lot. We did declutter her closet, and this is something that comes more often than other areas in our homes that we declutter. Our kids are constantly growing, and that means new sizes are coming into the house. We need to let go of other clothes. So this is kind of a recurring cycle that happens. So today I'm just going to share a few tips, a few pointers that help me keep the kids' closet a little less overwhelming, or at least make decluttering it part of our routine in general throughout the year. So here's where it started. I got a bag of hand-me-downs this past week, and I love kids' clothes. I love baby clothes. I love toddler kids' clothes. I'm never going to turn down a bag of hand-me-downs, and I'm never going to tell grandparents that they can't buy a cute outfit. I will casually let them know that we surely have enough, but I'm not going to be angry if they do buy something. We definitely have an abundance of kids' clothes, though. I know I mentioned that already. And we choose secondhand whenever possible, which is almost always possible with kids' clothes. They are easy to acquire at an inexpensive price, and this simple fact is what I keep in mind as I declutter my daughter's clothes. The biggest question that I get when it comes to kids' clothes is, what should I do? How much should I keep if I plan on growing my family, or if I do have a younger child already and I want to keep these clothes for them when they get to that age or in size? You know, that thought is in the back of my mind as well. When and if we grow our family, I don't want to just throw away all these kids' clothes or donate everything because I don't want to start from scratch. But this is the simple fact that I keep in mind to help so that I don't have bins and bins and bins full of clothes. Kids' clothes are easy to acquire at an inexpensive price. And less expensive price for the environment too, because secondhand kids' clothes are at an abundance. I could count on probably one hand the amount of times that I have bought Gemma new clothes. They are always coming in from grandparents, and or I'm always looking secondhand for what I need. So I keep in mind this abundance mentality with kids' clothes, because it's not that I would suggest you should donate kids' clothes that you'll think you'll use one day again, and you should just buy new ones when you get there. But at the same time, how much space do you have in your house to keep bins and bins of kids' clothes? If I kept everything of my daughter's, I'd have probably like 7 bins of kids' clothes by now, and she's 3 years old. At first, I told myself I could have 1 bin per year of clothes. And now at year 3, I realize that that's too much. I don't need to keep that much personally, because we don't have another child in the picture yet. So for us, what I do when it comes to how much to keep is I keep things that are in really good condition, that are our absolute favorites that we loved, and things that are useful, like pajamas, basic colors, basic color pants that I know would be used again, jackets, anything that might have been more expensive or seasonal, such as snow clothes, bathing suits, things that didn't get used a ton and are maybe more expensive items that could be used again. But even within those categories, what I realize as my daughter grows is that things get worn out easier now, because she is constantly moving, constantly playing, constantly falling down, constantly ripping the knees of her pants. And I always remind myself that I don't know what's to come. I don't have a planned child in the future, and we don't know what gender the child will be. We don't know what size the child will be, what time of the year the child would come, this hypothetical family growth that we may have one day. So for me, because that's the situation we are in, I have learned to let go of more and more clothes and hold on to this what if a little bit less. With an unknown future for the kids' clothes that I have and an overwhelming amount of them that sometimes comes into our house, I'm pretty ruthless with what leaves when they no longer fit or when they are stained. That is my particular situation. And so as I kind of walk you through what this decluttering session looked like for me with a 3-year-old, I want you to keep in mind that that is the mindset that I have around kids' clothes. For you, it might look different. And here are just some questions you can ask yourself. Some of these reflect what I just talked about. But 1, can you point to an actual real future use of them? Not a hypothetical one. And now, if you are really planning to have another kid soon, that is a real future use. If you have a younger sibling that could use these clothes, that's obviously a real future use. As you go through that closet, ask yourself, is this a favorite piece? Could it be used? Is it gender neutral? Is it in good condition? Is it useful? Pajamas, basic colors, again, jackets, things like that are going to be useful no matter what. And was it a more expensive item? Is it a good quality item? Has it lasted very well through the first kid and it would do the same through another? Is it a seasonal item that has had little use? These are all questions that can help you determine, okay, this can go in a keep pile. This, even though I like it, even though it's cute, even though I have memories of my daughter or son running around in it, I'm going to let it go. Of course, if you do have multiple kids, keeping the clothes for a very near future use is a very smart thing to do. Something I keep in mind when I am wanting to keep clothes for a farther in the future use is I want to have less with the next kid. So if you have multiple siblings already, you might keep the same mindset. More kids means more clothes, means more overwhelming closet and laundry. So think, I want to have less for his younger brother or younger sister. I don't need to keep all of these clothes. You could also keep in mind a specific number of pants, shirts, dresses, whatever it is. Give yourself a certain number to keep for the next kid. This doesn't mean you have to limit yourself to this number whenever that kid is actually wearing those clothes. They don't have to stick to 6 pairs of pants only, but you can say, I'm going to keep 6 pairs of pants as a hand-me-down, and then I'm going to decide once we get there with this next kid if I want to add a couple of secondhand pieces, or inevitably a friend or grandparent might buy them some extra pieces as well. These are just some ideas to help you get through this decluttering when you know you might be keeping some things for hand-me-down. If you have way too many clothes, but a lot of them still fit your child, then don't feel guilty about letting some go. It can still be really overwhelming if you have too much, even if they still fit. Let go of things that are stained beyond belief, or that your child just doesn't seem to like to wear, or that are less comfortable or less practical. And keep in mind your space. If you do want to keep things and you want to keep a good amount of things, ask yourself these 2 questions. Do I have the space to keep kids' clothes? And how much space do I have to keep? So how much space do I have to keep this in? And so what would that actually look like? Would it look like 1 bin per year of age? I realize that got excessive by age 3 for me, but maybe it would work for you. Maybe you do have a lot of storage, and maybe that would be helpful for your family because you hand things down to the next kid pretty quickly. Maybe you don't have enough stuff to keep that much, or maybe you don't have enough space to keep that much stuff. It really is going to be based on our personal family experiences and the personal space that we have. One thing I want to address before we move forward is I want to talk about the sentimental aspect of kids' clothes. I know that is why we have a hard time letting them go. And I definitely felt that way at first, especially in the first year of Gemma's life. By now, the things that I love to see her in, the things that she wears the most, end up getting so worn out that I don't feel as sad or sentimental about letting them go. But in that first year, I had a hard time letting go of onesies that I just loved seeing her in, and little cute ruffly Christmas dresses, shoes that she never actually wore other than maybe once, and they always fell off her feet. Things that aren't even practical. Sometimes they hold sentimental value. But I want to remind you that those memories with your child are not held in the clothes. In fact, if you put those clothes in a bin and tuck them away somewhere, chances are you probably will not be taking them out regularly and looking through them and remembering all those moments. Now, there is something precious about one day being able to give your grandchild something that your child who, is having that baby is now old enough and grown to have that baby wore when they were a baby. That is really precious. That is really sweet. But you don't have to do it with like bins and bins of clothes. You can keep 1 or 2 sentimental items per age, and that is not overwhelming. Maybe a Christmas dress that can be handed down to several kids or to future grandchildren each year, or maybe a really cute swimsuit that you just absolutely loved when your child was 2 years old. Just keep a couple of items, limit yourself. And when it comes to like baby items that are sentimental, is there a way that you can use them as a display? I've seen beautiful banners made out of baby dresses for a girl's room, or, there's always shadow boxes for those most memorable newborn memorabilia, like things from the hospital or a first hat. These things that can put those clothes on display instead of keep them tucked away in a box where they're going to take up storage space and you may forget about them and never even open them back up in the first place. Those memories are not locked into those clothes. Another idea I've seen is when something is passed down from kid to kid and has held a lot of memories, that last kid who's wearing it, take a picture of them in that outfit. Keep the picture. Let go of the clothes. Pictures can hold the memory. The clothes don't have to. I hope you're enjoying today's episode, but I want to take a minute to thank the sponsors that are helping make With Intention possible this week. I have taken collagen supplements for years, and I have found the best quality on the market to be from Ancient Nutrition. Ancient Nutrition has one goal: to transform the health of every individual on the planet with history's most powerful superfoods. So whether you want to improve your body, sharpen your mind, or just feel like your best self, Ancient Nutrition makes supplements that get real results that you can see and feel. All Ancient Nutrition products are rigorously and repeatedly tested for purity. Their best-selling multi-collagen protein powder includes 5 types of collagen, and it's the first and only collagen on the market with clinically studied ingredients proven to help reduce joint discomfort as early as day 1, improve fine lines and wrinkles after 4 weeks, and transform your overall skin tone after 8 weeks. It's unflavored and it dissolves in any liquid. I personally use it in my morning coffee and my oatmeal, and I love it. Ancient Nutrition is all about proven formulas for real impact. Right now, Ancient Nutrition is offering 20% off your first order when you go to ancientnutrition.com right now and enter promo code INTENTION at checkout. That's ancientnutrition.com. Enter promo code INTENTION for 20% off your first order. ancientnutrition.com. Enter promo code INTENTION at checkout. I also want to thank ZocDoc. Has this ever happened to you? You need to see a doctor, you search and find one that looks good, you wait on hold, you book an appointment, and when you finally go in, you find out that this doctor doesn't even take your insurance. Finding the right doctor can be frustrating, but there's a solution, and that's ZocDoc. You can download the free ZocDoc app. It's the easiest way to find a great doctor and instantly book an appointment. With ZocDoc, you can search for local doctors who take your insurance, read verified patient reviews, and book an appointment in person or video chat. Whether you need a primary care physician, dentist, dermatologist, psychiatrist, eye doctor, ZocDoc has you covered. Every month, millions of people use ZocDoc, and it's my go-to when I need to see a doctor. I actually recently moved. I relied on ZocDoc to find the right primary care physician in my area. If you need a doctor, you can sign up for ZocDoc for free today. Now is the time to prioritize your health. So go to ZocDoc.com/intention and download the ZocDoc app to sign up for free and book a top-rated doctor. Many are available as soon as today. That's ZocDoc.com/intention. I want to thank Organifi. Organifi is a line of organic superfood blends that offer plant-based nutrition with high-quality ingredients, and each blend is science-backed to craft the most effective doses with ingredients that are organic and free of fillers. Today I want to tell you about their Gold supplement. Organifi Gold helps you get the rest you need with the most soothing ingredients. Gold is a delicious superfood tea that contains powerful superfoods and mushrooms. It supports rest and relaxation, a healthy immune response, and a healthy response to stress. Organifi Gold is 100 USDA certified organic, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, vegan, and non-GMO. It tastes delicious in warm water and amazing in milk or milk alternatives. I personally use oat milk. Organifi Gold supports rest with ingredients like turmeric, reishi mushroom, and ginger. You could try Organifi Gold now or any of their other supplements. Go to Organifi.com/intention to get 15% off any item in the store. Just make sure you use the podcast link, ORGANIFI.com/intention for 15% off any item in the store. All right, let's get back to today's episode. Okay, so we are going armed into our kids' rooms with a box for donating or a bag for donating, maybe a smaller bag for consigning or selling. Kids' clothes are really easy to consign and sell. If I would say, if you were going to put any extra effort into selling anything, kids' clothes and toys might be your best bet. I've consigned kids' clothes before and had great success with it. So check nearby if you have any great consignment shops. That's also helpful for adding to the wardrobe down the road as well. And maybe keep a small bag aside for things that were barely used, that are in good quality and that you could consign or sell on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. And there's going to probably be a very small handful of things that we would actually trash when it comes to kids' clothes. So you can bring a small bag for garbage as well. Again, a larger box for donating, maybe a small bag for consigning, very small trash bag, and then, of course, a small bin or bag for keeping. Here's how I do it. I take all of the clothes out. All of the clothes need to come out because by the time I get to decluttering my daughter's closet, it's a crazy mess anyway. So it's not like there's any rhyme or reason to it at this point. So I take everything out. Usually we also have a bunch that's coming up clean from the laundry, and there's just a lot going on already. So I just make a pile with what we are keeping and I fold it along the way. And then I have my small box for what I'm going to keep, my box or bag for donation, and then I typically just make a separate small pile if I'm going to consign or sell anything, because it's rare that I do that. I just wanted to mention it as an option because it is something that you could make a little bit of money off of. and then I'll bring a small bag in for trash. So hope that made sense. That's just how I do it. Obviously, just have your separate bags and boxes for whatever works for you, and go armed into the room, ready to be ruthless. Again, I take everything out. We've got the laundry, the clean laundry that's coming, and we've got the mess of a closet that we are dealing with, and then I fold it as we go. This time around, I actually did not record my decluttering session. If you go back to the first episode where I talked about decluttering the bathroom, I recorded myself a little bit during my decluttering session to walk you through my thought process. But I will just walk you through what the decluttering session looked like, because I ended up doing it with my daughter, and it was a really precious moment, and I didn't want to bring my big podcast microphone into that moment. I wanted to be present for it. So let's get to me walking you through my decluttering session and declutter with me. Okay, so when I decluttered my daughter's room, I will tell you that it was a massive mess, and I know that I already said this, and she actually cleaned her room right before I came in to declutter her clothes, which was really sweet. She is starting to learn to do that. She's in between 3 and 4. She does a pretty good job, and then I come in and, just help her tidy some extra things. There's always like stray toys throughout all around the floor, or, something in the wrong place, which I don't micromanage her room that much, but I just kind of help her finish up. And then I told her we're going to get rid of some clothes because we just got all those new clothes, because we had just brought in a big bag of hand-me-downs, and she was all for it. She was like, let's get rid of my old clothes because I just got new clothes. And I try not to get her in that mindset of like, oh, we get new things, now we can throw away everything else. That is not what I want her to want. I don't want her to always want something new so that she can, just discard the old. But I did tell her, yeah, it is good when we do get new things, we should look through and get rid of some of our other things because we just don't need this much. And other kids could wear these clothes, and maybe these clothes that don't fit you anymore will fit them better. So she was ready to go, and I've never seen her so compliant to decluttering. So I want to give you this encouragement to the moms who are listening. If you talk about decluttering, if you talk about getting rid of things, if you talk about giving items that aren't used anymore to some other kids who don't have as much, or other kids who might need them or might use them more, if you have that conversation with your kids when they're little and too little to understand it, even if they fight it, eventually it starts to make sense to them. Like I said, she is nearing 4 years old. She'll be 4 at the end of the summer, and it's starting to click for her. And the thing is, when she would say no in the past, I didn't declutter in front of her. I just let her keep what she was insistent to keep, even if it was a clothing item that didn't fit anymore. Now she's more willing to let go, and I don't question it. I don't say, oh, but this is, this still fits and we haven't worn it yet. I just let her have that power over her stuff. There was one stuffed animal that she wanted to declutter, because we did go through her stuffed animals as well, that I said, I'm going to keep this in the closet for maybe a future brother or sister that comes into our life, because it was her very first stuffed animal as a baby. And I have plenty of pictures with that. And yes, maybe memories are locked into stuff a little bit for me. But everything else, we let it leave, just as she would say, I'm done with this. So with that said, she definitely helped me go through things, and we just went through the pile, and as we went, we folded things. And let me just let you into our clothing storage. I hang up her nicer dresses, but everything else is in reach for her. And I can tell her to go back to her room and find a pair of pants, find a shirt each day. So I keep them in these shallow little woven baskets from Target, and I just fold them up in there, kind of like a Marie Kondo fold, but not quite as tidy. And she just picks them out, and she can find her own outfits. So we started filling up those little baskets together, and as they started getting too full, I would tell her, you know what? I think we still have too many clothes. They don't fit in your baskets. is there anything else that you think, doesn't fit you as well or is not as comfortable and we can get rid of it? And so, yes, the baskets are still pretty full, but we did get rid of a lot. We got rid of a whole garbage bag that went to Goodwill for donation, which is great because that's how much hand-me-downs we brought in. It probably was about 1 in, 1 out, maybe a little more out because we needed it. As for things I kept, I honestly didn't keep anything from her closet. I did keep a winter coat and snow items because I decluttered our coat closet as well. But that is it. I just kind of didn't hold back or look back because if I do overthink about it, I start to feel a little bit sad about letting go all of the clothes that she looked so cute in. But I know that a lot of the things that we do really wear at this stage and that she does really love, they are still in her closet right now. So I probably will keep more things on our next declutter, but this one was full of things that just were overly worn out, didn't ever fit super comfortably in the first place, or I just felt, we can let go of and we can be okay with that. It gets easier with time, I promise. It gets easier to have your kids involved in the decluttering, and it gets easier to let go of the things. If you just keep practicing, keep doing it, it feels easier and easier to detach your memories from the stuff and to let go. So that's what our decluttering session looked like. Again, the baskets are still pretty full, but they're not overfilled. And I gave my child some power over her stuff and allowed her to be a part of it. And for the first time, I've tried it in the past, but for the first time, it worked. And it worked really well. Before we go, I do want to let you in on how I kind of declutter as I go as well when it comes to kids' clothes. You don't have to wait till your children's closets get so overwhelming to declutter their clothes. One of the best things you can do is declutter while you do the laundry. So as I'm putting things into the washing machine each time, if it's my daughter's clothes, I take anything that I know she didn't like last time she wore it or is stained or ripped or worn out, and I put them in a donate bin. Before they get washed, that's when I look for any clothes that can maybe be trashed or, cut up and used for rags, whatever. But then after I wash them, that's when I look through and see, okay, what doesn't fit anymore? What are we done with? What can we donate? And I make a small donate bag before they ever get back to the closet. Okay, so I am almost always decluttering kids' clothes or in kids' clothes decluttering mode since they grow so fast. Another quick thing to note is that after we decluttered and went through Gemma's entire closet, I then went through and decluttered mine, and she saw me do it a little bit. I mean, she was off on her own playing most of that time. But we were talking later, and she said she wanted to go to Target. And I said, oh, well, we're not going to go to Target. She said, I want to go to Target and get a new shirt. And I said, you want to get a new shirt? Look how many shirts you have. We were just in your room cleaning your closet. I don't think you need a new shirt. And she said, I want to get a new shirt. And I said, you know what? Mommy cleaned her closet too, and I have a lot of shirts, just like you have a lot of shirts. And I still want to get a new shirt too. I like shirts, but I don't need a new shirt right now, so I'm not going to get a new shirt. And I think you don't need a new shirt right now, so you're not going to get a new shirt. And she just kind of stopped talking about it. I'm not sure if what I said made any sense to her, or if she was just like, okay, you're talking too much. I'm just going to get back to my painting. And she got over the whole new shirt thing. But these are just moments that can come from decluttering. Teachable moments that when we have our kids a part of the decluttering process, especially with their own stuff, we can make these teachable moments out of them. And we can start to teach them this mindset that we don't always need new stuff. Stuff is not what life is all about. A new shirt, it's only going to make us happy for a second, but then it's going to fill up our baskets too much, and it will be hard to find the shirts we like in the mornings. So I guess bottom line, if you can, during this kids' closet decluttering session that you're going through, get your kids involved. I know at different ages, they'd be less enthused about that, or if they're too young, they might not understand. But if you can get them involved anyways, or have them in the same room, or have these conversations with them if they are of an appropriate age to understand them, it's only going to benefit them in the future. Even if it doesn't go perfectly for you, even if they are not as compliant as you'd like them to be, It's just a way of teaching them a value that you want to teach them. Whether they hold that value in the future or not, that's their choice. But you've done what you can, and that's the best you can do. With that said, this wraps up our Declutter With Me session. I'm sorry I didn't actually take you in the room with me this time, but like I said, I was having that moment with my daughter and I did not want to interrupt it with a podcast microphone. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And if you did enjoy it, could you share it with a friend somehow, whether you share it on Instagram or text a friend that might need a kids' closet decluttering session as well. I'm super thankful for you for doing that and for inviting more people into this community. Thank you for being here and listening in. If you decluttered your closet, you can email me and let me know. I am actually not on Instagram right now. I am taking a break. So if you do want to let me know that you decluttered your kids' closet or let me know any pointers that you have, you can email me at hi@desireeendries.com. That's the best way to contact me as of right now. And that is all I have for today's episode. I will talk to you right back here again on the next episode.